Lynette Davis. I am a lecturer at Eastern Kentucky University. I've been here 3 years now. And this is actually one of my topics that I discussed in my literature review. How do we establish social presence within online mathematics courses? My dissertation was actually entitled Measuring Student Satisfaction in Online Math Courses. So I've been doing this for quite a while, and I convinced my dissertation advisor to go from his comfort zone to this. So it worked out pretty well. How do we establish it? Before we get into it, what do you think social presence is? What does it mean to you?
It means making sure that the students know you're there.
Correct. Now, let's build from there. Making sure that they know that you're there. Email? Perhaps? Discussion board postings? Say, for example, sending out videos maybe once or twice a week, helping them to get through their assignments. Social presence is saying, I'm here, even though you can't actually see me, but you can actually feel that I'm actually in the environment with you. Social presence. Based on Hofstadter and Bush, I actually use a few of their quotations in my dissertation. They define social presence as relationships in online education. Now, relationships between who? It should be relationships between students, and of course, students and myself. I could say that I'm the instructor of the course, but I only want students to interact, and that course won't run well. Students have to be able to interact with me so that I can say, hey, you're on the right track, but let's just keep going a little bit more. Without those relationships, those students tend to fall out of the pipeline. When I say fall out, that means they're enrolled in the class, but I don't hear from them. I don't get email from them. When I email them, I don't get a response back. So those students are gone, okay? Relationships between students and instructors. What I found about social presence when it comes to discussion boards, I tend to start every single Monday the exact same way. Introducing the discussion. If we're talking about factoring, I start with an actual video and I introduce it with words. For example, we're going to talk about x squared minus 8x plus 16. How would you go about solving this problem? I would include a small video, and then after that, a follow-up question. This way, students are watching the video, they're listening to what I've just said, and now they're trying to put it into their own words, maybe even a video. Okay? When it comes to social presence, I don't make students just tell me what they're thinking about in words. I want them to use what they actually know. For example, they might want to do a video. When they do that video and upload it, another student will say, I didn't think about that. I'm going to post a video too. Okay? So that social presence continues. When it continues, students stay involved in the course. Instructor role in social presence. I cannot tell you how many times I am on this phone responding to students' emails. Responding to students' emails. Why? Because as a student, I had to wait 24 hours, sometimes 48 hours. Sometimes I didn't get an email back, but we're going to move past that. But I didn't want to do that to my students. I knew that my role in the class is if I want to be successful online, 5 to 7 days, I need to be there. 5 to 7 days, I need to be there. Now, whether I'm there all day or not the point. But students need to know, hey, I posted a question in the discussion board. Ooh, my teacher's there. She sent a response to me. Or I went to her office hours on Skype, and it's 10 o'clock at night, and she responded to me. Okay? Accessibility. When it comes to instructor role, whether it's projects, assignments, or the discussion board, students want to know that if I have a question, I'm going to get an answer. Okay? My mother actually did her grad work all online, and during that time, she's going from traditional to online. She sends an email to her instructor, and then somehow she calls me. I said, I'm not your instructor. She said, but I don't understand. I have a question right now. I said, it doesn't work like that in online. They have 24 hours. And she said, but I have a question right now. And that was relevant. And that made sense. It made so much sense that I invited her to my dissertation defense, and she spoke on this on her own. She needed a response in 24 hours and had to wait 24 hours. So when I thought about her experience and my own experience taking online classes, I said, if I connect all my email to my phone, I'll never miss it. It'll never take me 24 hours to respond to an email. I've had some students tell me, you responded so quickly. I said, well, yeah, because my email's on my phone. A lot of teachers don't do that. Now, I'm not saying you have to be by your phone from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. Not at all. But students need to know, if I send a question, I'm going to get an answer back. Instructor investment. Again, 5 to 7 days out of the week. Sometimes I'm on their 6th day. Because on the weekend, that's the time when a lot of people are not working. They figure I'm going to get the most of my homework done. I want to have a question. So on that 6th day, I'm either in class or via email answering questions. Isolation. We all know about the shy student. We've all had one. And online, they're still there. Okay? So when it comes to shy students, what are we doing to engage them so that they can come out of their shell a little bit? The interesting part about online is somehow it kind of encourages isolation. That's one of the reasons why I assign group work. Because with group work, students have to email each other. They have to talk to each other. They even have to talk to me. Because if they have questions, I need to be able to answer them. Okay? So when it comes to online, online is different from in-person. There's a difference between a manager and a leader. I have facilitators that manage the course. I lead the course. I lead the discussions. I lead the assignments. So anybody that wants to be successful in teaching online, you have to be a leader and not just a manager. Technology use. As you can see, I have used Prezi for this presentation. The biggest part of instructing is we have gotten so used to using the chalkboard for everything. When I came up, that's all we knew was chalkboard. When I went into my own classroom, there was a chalkboard there as well. For my students, I use Prezi presentations. I use Nearpod presentations. Why? Because it connects to them through technology. They're already on Facebook. They're already on Twitter. So getting to this particular website is no problem. Okay? Prezi, I use Prezi on purpose. I love to talk. I love to talk. Okay? With PowerPoint, I can have 50 different slides. Not with Prezi, there are only 8 here. And that was pre-designed. Because these should be talking points. Okay? As you notice, I went through this about 4 o'clock in the morning while everybody else was resting, so I know what's here. But the thing is, I don't need to send students 40 different slides on this is what you need to do. Okay? Technology use. How do we use it? Prezi, screencasts, PowerPoint presentations, and teacher tubes. I actually went through a certificate on how to use all of these. Because I wanted students to learn in a way that they could feel like they're connected to it. And then I wanted them to do presentations as well. My final exam, I am one of the few people in my department who does not do a paper final exam. I absolutely despise them. You want to know why? Because after I've taught you, I want you to teach me now. So that last class, we bring food and we have video presentations. I let the students pick the topics they want to talk about. Everybody has to participate and it has to be some form of technology. And they love it. Lectures. The lectures that I have done at Eastern specifically have been through EKU Online. We have used a product called the whiteboard. It looks like the frame of your door at your house, literally. And what happens is I get a chance to do 3 to 5 minute videos, very short, okay? The student's mindset is as short as a commercial. Don't give them 20-minute videos, they're only gonna watch 3.5, okay? In those 3 to 5 minute videos, I go through one concept, for example, factoring. I introduce it, I talk about what the concept is, I do a few problems, and the video stops. With those videos, I'm able to send those out. For example, my class is going on right now. My students already have a video. Short videos, concise, yet effective. Students will watch them. They will be able to go online and find other videos. They'll be able to engage you in conversation because you did not send them a long video. They can find long videos on their own. They want videos that they can share with their friends. Or videos that they can say, hey, my teacher made this video just for me, even though you sent it out to the whole class. Students want personalized instruction. And this is the time for us to give it to them. Some characteristics of social presence, email. Just like I mentioned, email in 24 hours. Online office hours through Skype. As long as I have Skype on my phone or my iPad, which I always have at least 2 or 3 technologies with me, my students can contact me at any point in time. Okay? Making sure that social presence is there in your classroom helps students to feel like they're involved in their learning. As I mentioned with that final project, if students are not socially present, they will not be able to complete that project. Because I go through that project through at least 15 minutes in 3 class periods. They get to pick their own groups. They get to pick their own presentation and how they plan to do it. They ask questions, and I let them go with it. My main goal is not to take over the entire instructional process, but to facilitate it. And we have reached the end. Establishing social presence overall starts in the very beginning. How you start is how you'll finish. If you don't start well, it's not going to end well. And you will know it because it will show up on your evaluations. Okay? Best part about online math courses, I start all of my classes in the same way. Via discussion board, via email, I introduce myself. Students know who I am. I encourage them, if they're close by, to come to campus. If they would like to meet with me personally, I also phone call. I do Skype. I do all kinds of things in the very beginning so students can say, hey, that's my instructor. She's approachable. So overall social presence, be approachable, be effective, be productive. Any questions? Yes.
These college or high school?
These are college students. These are first and second year students. Yes.
Your approach is certainly different. Having taken some online math courses myself in recent years, it's just a matter of read the textbook, do the problems, take the tests. And I know that teaching math online is probably a more complex activity than other subject areas. But I would commend you for your approach, trying to be more personal rather than just read the book, do the problems, take the test.
Thank you. It's exciting to be able to connect with students that I'll probably never meet face to face. So I have to find different ways to connect with them. And that's one of the reasons why when they have different courses on technology, when they have different sessions such as this conference, I try to go and be a part of it because I know if I'm going to be in this teaching profession for the next 30 years, I'm going to have to grow. And I embrace that. Yes.
Yes, from what you said, I thought I recently I've been reading about social presence, teacher presence, and cognitive presence. I don't know if you've looked at those and see how social presence needs to be separated from teacher presence. Because part of what we're saying, I thought it's more of teacher presence, not social presence.
A lot of it is social presence when it comes to student, and then student to instructor. And both of those are explained in my dissertation as well. Yes.
I've been teaching online high school since 2001, and at the end of my first year, my student, well, not even the end, but they were about 6 weeks in, they're like, we need a way to contact you when we have questions. So then I started using instant messaging. And so as long as I was at my computer at night, the instant messenger was open and they would come in and ask questions. The last few years, they've kind of shied away from that. I'm now one of 8 teachers who teach my class. We have like 12 sections of this AP class. And one of the teachers commented, goes, are they using the private thread? Because we have a private thread where they can ask personal things they don't want anybody else to know about and things like that. We're only like 3 weeks in and I've already had 75, messages. I'm like, only 75? Because, I'm in my private threads almost every day. I can post a message to the entire class in their private thread so that they can see it because they don't necessarily read the announcements and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, only 75? I got twice that in one and almost, more than that in the other one.
So how large are your classes?
My classes, these are mostly for online classes. My classes most times are between 50 and 60 students. So it's myself and 2 facilitators.
So what's the problem that I have, like what she's talking about? So like if I post something on the discussion board, and then I have 150 responses, do I have to respond to all that, or do I have to do the fishbowl?
Oh no. See, this is what I've done in my class, especially for Blackboard. I have a listing of all the students. And of course, when I go into the announcement section, I address that particular question and send it out to the whole class all at one time.
On the discussion boards,
Yeah, only like.
I don't read everything, but I
Yeah, that's
randomly, I say I'm gonna respond to 6 students, so I
Yes.
randomly go through and read, I may read more than that to find some that I wanna respond to, but I just randomly post and respond and try to ask more questions to get them, so because lots of times when the instructor comments on a thread, that ends it. So I have to make sure I ask open-ended questions so that
Right.
somebody else will come by and say, oh, I didn't think about that.
And that's a good discussion question starter for each week. When you start a particular discussion based on the topic you're gonna discuss, students will come in and add their responses.
Yeah.
But what I decided to do now is, because I have a lot of students, so I can't be responding to everyone.
Sure.
So I just select maybe 20 this week, this week, respond to those. Next week I respond to the other 20 that I didn't respond to. And keep on doing that so that they find that I'm present. Otherwise, if I don't do that, I will randomly select the same students again because maybe they have something that. So I thought maybe the fishbowl in the discussion board, they call it now fishbowl, sampling for the, I think that's the best way because if we have so many students and the number of responses to make, it will be too much.
That's a
Well,
lot.
at the beginning of the year, I respond to everything. For the first 2 weeks, I'm responding to everything, just so they know I'm there.
Right.
But then after like week 3, then I start, then about half. And then, at this point in the year, about 1/4 of the things. If they put something in their private thread, that gets responded to it, regardless. But if they put it in the discussion board, and then when I grade their assignments, they get lots and lots of feedback.
Yes.
So you're using Blackboard.
Yes.
Do you require the students mandatory they have to respond to so many others to get credit? I mean, how do you work around that? Because, you have some students say, well, they'll just do the I agree comment before they get credit for it. So what's your magic on that?
For the
area?
online course, students have to post an introduction of themselves because we have this new faculty drop policy. So without that post, they automatically get dropped.
Okay.
So after that, in subsequent discussions, they have to respond to at least one person, at least 3 to 4 substantial sentences.
Gotcha. And if not, then do you mark
Set
it
up a
where
rubric.
it's or you get credit so they can see that they get credit for
Yes.
that post or not? Okay.
Make a rubric. Say, if you only say I agree, that's only worth 2 points.
That's only worth 1 point in my
Right.
opinion.
But Blackboard in Moodle is a feature in it that you can, you can only see someone else post after you posted your
Sure.
one.
Well,
So-
you can actually
Yeah.
change that. You can go in Blackboard and change that so that anybody can read it.
So sometimes students read other people before they go and read their own. So if you close it, that will force them to read the text or whatever I want them to work on before they go to someone else. So if you close it, then I feel like once they post their own, then they can see everybody else's response. That would help with actually giving their own input and to bring people's stuff and post based on what they heard from others.
Yes, sir.
What courses do you teach?
I teach MAT 090, which is a pre-algebra class. I teach an introductory algebra class, math for application. I teach everything up to pre-calculus. Other questions?
Something else with the discussion boards, I stagger dates, so you have to have your first post made by, like our week starts Wednesday and ends on Tuesday, so your first post has to be posted on Friday. And then you have to have, because otherwise they wait till Tuesday night, and you can't have a discussion if everybody waits till Tuesday night to post.
I give them at least 2 days
Yeah.
to do their discussion.
Well, from here, I like the way that you say that you do personalized videos and all this stuff. That one, I think that's the way to go now. If we want to reach the students who have diverse needs and all this stuff, I think that's the way.
All right, any other questions?